I, 29F, was served divorce papers by my husband during quarantine. So basically, like the title says, my husband has been cheating on me for our whole relationship of 10 plus years and served me with divorce papers during quarantine. He wants me out of the apartment by next Friday, but I am too embarrassed to tell my family. In my culture, no one gets a divorce and I don't know where to start. I know I need to get a lawyer, but I'm completely confused and blindsided right now and would like advice before contacting a lawyer so I don't look as clueless as I am. He's being completely irrational and doesn't want me to have anything. Not the furniture in the house, the food in the fridge, or our dog. I'm hoping someone can help me out with the most important things below. First, we don't have a prenup. I met him when I was 19, and he had opened up his first restaurant in the city. I really thought we'd grow old together. I know, stupid of me not to cover my ass, but I was with him for so long that I got really comfortable and couldn't imagine him doing this. We bought a condo in New York, and most of it was paid for by me and my family, but it is in his name. I'm scared of losing the house since my parents and I put so much into it. But I also can't afford to keep the house on my own for more than a few months unless I ask my parents for help, which I'm also embarrassed to ask for. Can his infidelity help me out here? Second, he bought me a car for my birthday just last year and is telling me I have to leave the car with him, so I have no way of moving any of my stuff out and would put myself at great risk of getting COVID-19. Is he allowed to do this? Third, I am a co-signer on 2 of the small loans that he has on his restaurants. I'm also invested in them, and they're a great second source of income, even in these times. How will the judge, or whoever ultimately makes the decision, determine whether or not I can maybe keep one of the restaurants or still collect revenue from them? Again, no prenup and my husband was unfaithful. Update 1. Basically, my husband of 3 years and partner of 10 plus has been cheating on me our entire relationship and served me with divorce papers while we are quarantined together. He says that there's been multiple girls, but the current mistress is a bartender at one of his restaurants. I'm sickened, embarrassed, and confused. This has caught me completely off guard with everything going on right now, especially being that our city is suffering the most. I'm not sure why he thought this was the best time to tell me, but he wants me out of the house by next Friday. I don't know how to explain to my traditional Greek parents what is going on. I'm much too embarrassed to tell them I'm getting a divorce. In our family and culture, divorce is unheard of. And with all the money my parents poured into our wedding, home, assets, etc., I don't even know where to begin. I truly feel completely worthless. I never thought that before 30, I'd be in this situation. My husband really had me fooled, and I did everything right. I kept in great shape, I'm put together, I cooked, cleaned, the list goes on and on. I don't know where I went wrong to make him cheat. How do I move on now? Do men in their 30s want to be with a woman who has already been divorced? I feel like I'll be seen as damaged goods. If anyone has experience feeling like this, please let me know how you got through it. Update 2. My ex-husband had been cheating on me our whole 10-plus year relationship, 3 years were marriage, with multiple women, and served me with divorce papers during the peak of the COVID curve here in New York City. He wanted me out, and he wanted everything, even things that were not his. We have not talked since April 27th, and are solely communicating through lawyers. He has moved into the back office of one of the restaurants that he owns. Yes, you heard that right. And spends his time between his restaurants and the new chick's house. His parents begged and pleaded with me to get back with him in a phone call on May 3rd, but that will never happen. Here's an update. Legally, the apartment is, most likely, going to be given to me. His lawyer agreed that this very well might be the case, though I know they're going to fight me until they can't anymore. Given that there are bank statements, documents showing that majority was paid for by my family. If this isn't the case, it will be 50-50ths. Either way, I do plan on moving to a smaller place in a different neighborhood, and don't really care for the apartment the same way I did. What I once saw as a place where we would raise a family has now become a somewhat empty museum to me. As long as his new missus isn't living the life I once did, I don't care which way we go with it. I last spoke about him wanting to take the car from me. Well, the car is mine until the judge determines what to do with it. My name is on the title, and though he is making the payments, it is mine. I can't really imagine why I need a $100K car to sit on the street and accumulate tickets daily, so while it's mine for now, I honestly can't afford the maintenance on it, and I live in New York City's sue-free car, for now. Thankfully, he's not going to fight me for the custody of our beloved pup, the most important factor in all of this. She's mine. The restaurant. So I spoke about my partial ownership in one of the restaurants. I've decided to sell it back to him. I think it's best to cut ties to him, and getting a check every 2 weeks in the mail with his signature on it, and a post-it with a piss drawn on it, has made me resent him even more. So I'm going to sell my percentage back to him, or whoever wants to invest. I'll put that money towards a car I can afford on my own, or my new place, etc. A lot of people were telling me to get checked for STDs, and I took your advice and headed over to Planned Parenthood. All is well in that department. Now, on to my family, which I was terrified to say anything to. They have been so supportive, my rocks through all of this madness. I never imagined my parents being there for me like they have, but they've really been a major part of my healing process and have assured me that I have nothing to be ashamed of, no matter our culture. Now that it's safer to, I've been back and forth from my place to theirs once a week. Naturally, some drama has occurred though. Turns out, my big fat Greek family knows his new girlfriend's big fat Greek family. We go to the same church. To say that things got messy is an understatement, but my mom ended up telling everyone in our community that this family's daughter ruined a home. I feel awful about this, but my family comes from a culture where the woman in this situation is wrong and the man is just doing what men do. Awful. Trust me, I know. But it's their old school ways, and this girl is notorious in our community for her bad reputation, with drugs, partying, etc. This made it so much worse, and I feel like I'm to blame. But also not? If there's one thing I've realized, it's that I cannot control the actions of others, but I can control my own reaction. I apologized to her on behalf of my family in a letter I'm sure she got. In return, I got a message on Facebook from her mother that says I deserved everything I got, and she hopes I lose everything. They're a super sweet family. So that's pretty much a little update of what has happened in a month. We're waiting to take things to court, and soon I will be a free woman. Recently, our 3rd wedding anniversary passed. It was the first time during all this madness where I felt just fine. I took my dog in my LOL car to the beach that day and sat with a red Solo cup filled with one of those super mini cheap bottles of Barefoot Moscato and reflected on life in general. And long story short, I know who I am, and whose I am, and I will, and I am, heal and will come out of this stronger than I've ever been. In a way, I'm looking at it like, I'm getting a second chance to relive my 20s, but this time I can't just get wasted and go to work the next day BC barf. I'm in no rush to date anytime soon. I'm still young and have my whole life ahead of me. I saw a picture of him and the new girl recently, and instead of being upset or angry, I kind of felt bad for him. He lost someone who was with him when he had nothing, someone who really loved him and gave her all, just to be with a 21YO girl who is using him for material things that just don't matter. It doesn't make sense, but in the grand scheme of things, I dodged a bullet. This is just a chapter in my book that I can't wait to be done with. Thanks all. Much love.